Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from Daxito24 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and it says, Am I the Arsehole Here for telling a roommate that he is a guest in my home? My boyfriend recently moved into my 2-bedroom apartment. Our original plan was to sleep in one bedroom and have him put his clothes and belongings in the guest bedroom because it has a bigger closet. However, one of his friends recently fell on hard times and asked to stay with us for about a month while he finds a new place. Although I do not know this friend very well, he's good friends with my boyfriend. I've met him a few times and he seems chill, so I agreed to let him stay. My boyfriend and I split the rent equally, but the utilities, renter's insurance, and internet are all in my name. The friend currently pays nothing except for his own food. The main problem is that this friend has a significant amount of stuff, so much so that I actually had to rent a U-Haul to help him move in. I'm not used to having this much clutter. Even before my boyfriend or his friend moved in, I would try to regularly go through my own stuff and get rid of things I'm not actively using. Obviously, I can't do that with someone else's belongings, so I asked him to keep most of his things in his room. Unfortunately, the problem extends into the kitchen as well, because he gets a lot of food from community kitchens. Our cabinets are full to the brim with his cans and non-perishables, and the fridge and freezer are completely packed with his food. I understand that he may have been in situations in the past where he lacked access to food, and now he feels the need to hoard it, but it's frustrating that his stuff is taking up so much space. To cope, I try to keep the food put away and somewhat organized, but he frequently leaves items out on the counter and places things in ways that take up unnecessary room. When I ask him about it, he gets defensive. The other day he confronted me and asked, "Why'd you keep your stuff out, but I have to put mine away?" Mind you, the items I leave out actually belong on the kitchen counters, such as my cutting boards and stand mixer. The items he leaves out are groceries like peanut butter, jelly, mayonnaise, and bread, which are things that I normally put away in a cabinet or the fridge. In addition to that, he recently said that he did not feel at home and felt like I wanted him out. This is where I may have been the arsehole. I lost my temper on him and told him, "This isn't your home. You're a guest in my home, and the least you could do is put your things away." He got upset and complained to my boyfriend, who is now trying to avoid taking sides to keep the peace. To his credit, my boyfriend agrees with me that his friend has taken up a lot of space and that the apartment is starting to feel cramped with 3 people. However, he also feels that what I said was unnecessarily harsh, and he told me that I shouldn't start conflicts like that with someone who is most likely going to be living with us for a while longer. Am I the arsehole here? And edit some more information. This person is only staying with us because their lease ended at their previous apartment, and I guess the alternative was living with his abusive sister. I realize now that he should have made arrangements to live elsewhere well before his lease was up. I have no idea how long him and my boyfriend were talking about it before he pitched the idea to me. In the state I live in, I cannot legally kick this person out if they show proof of occupancy, which means they have a designated place to sleep. They have all of their clothes and belongings here, etc. The most I can do is hand him a 30-day notice to quit, which I will be doing June 15th, which marks 1 month since he moved in, and will give him until July 31st to move out. And if he still doesn't leave by that time, I can then file an eviction lawsuit. Thank you all for your opinions and advice. I think I'm too trusting sometimes, and this whole situation has taught me not to fall for just any old sob story. But I will say my boyfriend did it out of kindness. He's just a bit impulsive and maybe a bit naive. We'll be having a serious conversation with him soon. I'm looking forward to it being just the 2 of us. Edit 2, I've decided to serve the notice immediately instead of waiting until the end of the month. And we have an update in a moment. Bloody hell, I wonder what's happened. What's he done now? I was a little bit sympathetic at first, I gotta be honest with you, because he'd been struggling financially, and like OP said, he's been getting lots of food from community kitchens and hanging on to it, and I thought that's definitely coming from a place of insecurity, worried about where your next meal is coming from, and food can be a bit of a comfort blanket, and I did have sympathy with that, but then he started complaining, and he completely lost me there. The guy is staying in someone else's flat, paying no rent, no utilities, no internet, taking up an entire bedroom and filling the cupboards and fridge freezer, and then it has the nerve to argue about the kitchen space. That's some cheeky so-and-so behavior right there. And then he's dropping comments about not feeling at home, which is wild to me. I mean, mate, you're not at home. You are a guest. one that's being generously accommodated as well. If I was in his position, I'd be bending over backwards to be out of their way, to be making their lives easy as possible. I'd be cleaning, doing the dishes, taking the bins out, just making sure the people helping me don't regret it for a second. And the boyfriend isn't getting away with this either because he invited this friend in, but it seems to me like he's sitting on the fence a bit while OP's dealing with all the bullshit, right? The commenter says, not the arsehole. A temporary guest is still a guest, not a third roommate who gets unlimited storage and free housing. The fact that you had to rent a U-Haul just to fit his stuff in says a lot. Your boyfriend should be handling most of this since it's his friend. OP replied saying I'd already planned on renting the U-Haul to move in my boyfriend's stuff. Although looking back, I really should have had him pay for it. But I was the one driving it, so I guess I didn't think about it. Commenter replies saying, has your boyfriend paid any of the bills he agreed to pay yet? It sounds like you might have just moved 2 moochers in with you. OP says he pays half of the rent and does most of the grocery shopping. Another commenter says, not the arsehole. He's supposed to only be staying a month. It sounds like he's moved in completely. I would say he needs to put anything he doesn't need for a month into storage, and he should pay for the U-Haul. Why on earth did you pay for it? He's moved in, and unless you continue to make it uncomfortable, including getting his extra stuff out, he won't look very hard for his own place. OP says he does already have a storage unit. I should have said something from the start. I was planning on having my boyfriend set up the guest bedroom how he wanted it and just letting his friend stay there. But I guess my boyfriend wanted him to have his own space, so he told him he could bring all his stuff. So it was 1 day later that OP came in to update and says, holy smokes. I was not expecting this post to blow up as much as it did. I've had several people asking me for an update, so here goes. First of all, for those of you saying to get rid of my boyfriend too, please understand that he genuinely had his heart in the right place. When I said I wasn't sure how long he and his friend had been talking about it, I just meant that he was probably excited to be able to help someone out, not that they both planned it behind my back. If I had said no back then, that would have been that. After talking to him again, he admitted that he's really tired of his friend being there, and I'm being more than generous by letting him stay as long as I have. He just told me I was being harsh because he didn't want me to end up on bad terms with his friend. I don't think he realized that I'm not particularly interested in being friends with this person myself. I also found out that my boyfriend has been giving him money for groceries and driving him around, which I told him to immediately to put a stop to. He agreed. I've consolidated all of the friend's food to one shelf in the fridge, one shelf in the freezer, and one cabinet. I told him that he needs to go through whatever didn't fit in the cabinet and either get rid of it or keep it in his room for the time being. My boyfriend also talked to him and made it clear that his welcome is coming to an end. I'll be serving him the notice to quit tomorrow, June 15th, which marks 1 month since he moved in. This will give him until July 31st to find a place and move out before I can pursue further legal action. I feel this is more than fair, as he's effectively getting more than twice the amount of time that we initially agreed on. In addition to this, my boyfriend has a cousin who's a realtor who has agreed to help his friend in his search for Section 8 housing. My father, who used to inspect apartments for a living, has also agreed to help him out. If all else fails, he will just have to move back in with his sister. Thank you all for helping both my boyfriend and I realize that we were being taken advantage of. Things have been so chaotic since his friend moved in, and we're both looking forward to having our space back. Commenter says, not the arsehole, but the fact that your boyfriend told you that you were too harsh with his freeloader buddy doesn't make him sound like a guy with a big heart. It makes him sound like a guy who values his friend's feelings over yours. Your boyfriend caused the problem. Time for him to fix it. And edit. This is why you never let someone move in while they're getting back on their feet. 99.9% of the time, they will take advantage of your naivety to use and disrespect you and clutter your home until you force them out. OP replies saying he said I was harsh over one specific comment I made in a moment of anger, but he is firmly on my side now. We're working together to get his friend out as quickly and smoothly as possible. Commenter says, is he? Really? Is he doing anything about the friend he moved in? Why did you have to tell him anything? The agreement was 1 month. He should be moving the friend out at the 1 month mark. OP says, we are doing everything we can about the friend we mutually agreed to let stay with us. The 1 month mark is tomorrow, which if you read the post is the day I'll be serving him a notice, and my boyfriend already talked to him and told him that he's overstaying his welcome. Momo says to OP 1 month that he's made no effort to leave. What does that tell you? There was never a plan to move out. Why did you need to help him get a U-Haul for a 30-day stay? You should have been not allowed to bring anything into your home except clothes and necessities. Everything else should have gone to a storage room. Whether you want to believe it or not, they both took advantage of you. Yes, unless he already has a Section 8, he'd be waiting years for that. Opie says, okay, here's how it all went down. My boyfriend and I got approved to take over the lease from my former roommate. Before he moved in, he asked about his friend staying with us. I agreed. I told my boyfriend to go home and get all his boxes and stuff together so it'd be as quick as possible to move. Then I had his friend come help me pick up a dining table with the U-Haul, since my former roommate took hers with her. I considered helping me move the table payment for the U-Haul because I know he doesn't have much money. I only rented it because I needed it for that table, and I thought it'd be smart to just move everything that day. After we got the table home, I helped the friend load his stuff into the van. Told him that it was more than I was expecting and let him unload what he wanted to keep at the apartment so we could put the rest in storage. Unfortunately, he ended up unloading most of it. I want to say I was busy doing something else while he was unloading, or else I would have said something. I just remember he had already unloaded most of it by the time I got back. But after that, we went to pick up my boyfriend's stuff, which the friend also helped with, and it only ended up being around $150 to rent the U-Haul for the day. I'm fortunate enough where it's not too big a deal for me, and I'm sure if I'd asked my boyfriend to pay me back for it, he would have. Also, his former place was Section 8, and he already has a voucher, so it's just a matter of time finding a new place. A commenter says, if you're giving him 30 days, that goes to mid-July, not the end. Opie says apparently it has to line up with a rental period or something, which means that since I'm given notice during June, he has until the end of July. Commenter says, out of curiosity, how did the friend react at you consolidating his food items and asserting some boundaries with him? Opie says he hasn't talked to me or responded to any of my texts, but he expressed gratitude towards my boyfriend for getting put in touch with his realtor cousin. But I'm just fine being left on red, because at least I know he got the message. Commenter says, how did he handle the news? Opie says he hasn't left his room yet today. At first, for me, I want to bring up one of the comments that said, 99.9% of the time it's not going to work out, which for me, that was absolute nonsense. People don't rush online to post my friends because on Reddit, people are not rushing online to post my friend stayed with me for 6 weeks, found a new place and thanked me and then moved out. They're not posting about all the good times that's happened. People are posting the disasters because that's what happens. Of course, there's always an occasional feel-good story, right? But a lot of the time we're hearing the worst of worst situations. But that said, I was definitely side-eyeing the boyfriend a little in this. Not because I think he was malicious, but because he seemed to be almost like trying to keep both parties happy here, air quotes, keeping the peace. Because his first instinct in this wasn't like, mate, you've overstayed and now you're taking over the bloody kitchen. He went to OP and said, maybe don't be so harsh, which is just avoiding the problem, isn't it? In the update, he seemed to be taking steps in the right direction, but I kind of still felt like it was falling on OP, mate. And after all this, the guy seems to be blanking OP now because he hasn't leaving his room and he's not responding to OP. He knows things are coming to an end, and instead of being thanks for letting me stay while I was getting myself on my feet, or I'll sort my stuff out and all this, he's going silent and hiding in his room. I'm certainly going to be looking for an update in about a month or so to see if he actually does move out, because that's going to be interesting. How's he going to move all that shit out for one? He's going to be expecting OP to rent a U-Haul again, because if he's got no money, what's he going to do? But what about you guys? Have you ever helped someone out like this and it's backfired? Or maybe you had a good story. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from your buddy Gray from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and it says, am I the arsehole here for putting distance between me and my friend after they started flirting? My friend, 32 male, and I, 22 male, have been best friends for 4 years now. About 2 years ago, we confessed that we both loved each other, but that because of the age gap, we didn't see that it was feasible for us to be in a relationship, so we stayed as very close friends instead. Flash forward to now. My friend, I'll call him KT, is in an open relationship with a long-term partner who he lives with. I've always been very supportive of this relationship since I've always wanted the best for KT. Seeing him happy makes me happy. However, lately, KT has been going back and forth on wanting to break up with his boyfriend, and in the moments when he's on the side of breaking up, he tends to get flirty with me, only to rescind all the flirtation when he patches things up again with his boyfriend. It's driving me a little crazy. All while I know it's an open relationship, I still feel uneasy about him flirting with me like this. It feels like I'm some kind of emotional rebound or something. So lately I've been putting a little distance between us when it comes to flirting. not engaging with it at all, or talk of his relationship. However, when I do it, he gets really cold and accusatory towards me, making it seem like I don't care enough about him. It's making me wonder if maybe I really am in the wrong. Maybe I should just suck up the relationship talk or something. I don't know. Am I in the wrong? A commenter says to OP, open relationships are not all the same. Some people use the concept to justify cheating and manipulation, and your friend sounds like one of these. I would step away from this friendship. He's not a good person. OP says yeah. Honestly, don't get the feeling that on one of the relationships KT has mentioned to his boyfriend. From what it sounds like, KT mostly is in an open relationship where he's able to go has physical intimacy with others. Last time I was on the phone with him, he called me his college kid to his boyfriend. So I don't even know if the boyfriend knows if we are close as we are. KT has never let me meet his boyfriend either, only short hellos to each other over the phone. I've never thought much of it because we live 3 hours away from each other now, and every time I visit it's on a weekend, which his boyfriend only works weekends. A commenter says, you need to set firm boundaries with him. He may be in an open relationship, but that doesn't give him the right to be flirting with you just because he wants to. I'd straight up tell him how it makes you feel. If he can't understand that, he isn't your friend. Another commenter says he's an emotionally dangerous person. Keeping you on the hook and pretending to think about breaking up to justify the flirtations is incredibly manipulative. His reaction to trying to protect yourself emotionally is trash. He sounds selfish and self-centered. Imagine you're on this kind of emotional roller coaster and you're not even dating. This guy is not healthy for you and he doesn't care. The OP came in with an update and said thank you to everyone's comments. Your advice and support has made me see this whole situation and relationship in a new light. Last night I hopped on a call with Katie to discuss the whole situation. When I started mentioning boundaries, he immediately got quiet, telling me that he never flirted with me and that he has a boyfriend. I told him I knew that, but that I felt like he was flirting with me. He got angry and told me that I was overreacting and he was just comfortable with me. Then he flipped and said he loves me and can never have me, so what's the harm with a little flirting once in a while? After that I told him I think I need some space, and he said no, I need some space, which felt a little ridiculous. He also said he didn't want me to come visit like we had planned because he was just too depressed by life. I made hotel reservations to come visit him and go see a Pokemon exhibit that he was super excited about. I had no problems with that, but did not cancel my reservations. I decided to instead visit my childhood friend, 23 male, who I'm very close with. He's been telling me he misses me for a while and I was planning to have him visit me in a couple of weekends, so it works out really well. While I love Katie, I'm also trying to have more self-respect and have some love for myself. So while I'm not sure if I'll cut contact completely, I've decided that as of now, I can't be friends with him. I'm tired of manipulation, the back and forth, and loving someone who is willing to hurt me like this. A part of me feels like I'm going through a breakup, and even if the circumstances were weird, I'm still walking away from the person I told everything to. The person who helped me through my mum's death. The person who makes me laugh harder than anyone. My heart hurts, but I'm trying to be grateful and okay with the whole situation. I keep having to put my phone down so I don't reach back out and try to apologize or something. Thank you again to everyone. You've helped me immensely. A commenter says to OP, you are mourning a relationship. You're mourning the person you thought was your friend. Commenter says, KT is an immature as fuck dude. You said he did something that upset you and his immediate reaction was to attempt to gaslight you. Drop his ass. Commenter replies in exactly. The 22-year-old is not the immature one in this relationship. And one more says, I want you to keep in mind that you're 22 and don't have the life experience a 32-year-old has. He manipulates you when he's bored and needs a toy or attention. He's been grooming you for years to put up with this behavior. He love bombs you. You eat it up. We all do. Then he dumps you when something better comes along. That's not love. That's convenience. How do I know? When you called him out and he tried to flip the script on you. That's a classic move and is designed to keep you off balance. Lock his ass and move on with your life. And now I'm going to turn this one straight to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from the relationships subreddit from I Regret It Throwaway, who says, I'm male 24, think I made a huge mistake in breaking up with my ex, female 20, 3 months later. I was with Brittany for 2.5 years. I like many things about her. She had a good sense of humor. We like the same music and all the same video games. She's hot. She gave me cool gifts. She was always there for me. Around a year and some change into the relationship, I started an internship. Not only did I have an internship, I had a job and school. This led me to having long days from 8 AM to 12 AM/2 AM-ish. I had no time to see anybody. Luckily, Brittany lived a few blocks away, so I'd hang out with my friends after work, then pick her up around 3 or 4 AM, depending whenever I was done. I started to get tired of being in a relationship. Everything she did annoyed me. I started feeling obligated to hang out with her. I thought as soon as my internship was over, I'd rekindle the candle and things would be fine again. It didn't work out that way. I'd cancel plans and do things with my friends because I got used to the nighttime hangouts. We'd just hang out at my house later that night anyway. I didn't talk to her for days. Every time she asked if I was okay, I'd tell her I was because I'd never learned how to communicate well. Finally, September came. She tried to talk to me about her concerns in person, and I didn't give much of an input, other than telling her that she had nothing to worry about. I left to go hang out with my friends. Later that night, she texted me saying that it's so hard to communicate because I always avoid the things she says. That she wants to know what's wrong because she cares about us. That it feels like I only hang out with her because I'm obligated to. So we meet up. I tell her how she's perfect for me, but I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. I've been in relationships since I was 16 and I've never gotten a chance to be single. She says she understands and would rather not be in a relationship with someone who isn't giving 100% and that she won't hate me. We break up. I go out with my friends a lot. I try talking to other girls, but being single isn't what I thought it would be like. I'm not drowning in vagina. Girls don't like me. I think we needed a break, not a breakup. I was getting so annoyed of her, and if I had time off, I'm sure it would have worked out. Cue to a few weeks later and I see her in another city with a new guy, a new boyfriend. We trade items at a show later in the week and I don't talk to her. I turned around and walked away before she could say something. I regret it immensely. I told her how I feel. Things aren't the same without her. She completed me. She was so good for me, and I wasn't the best for her. I was really shitty to her for a good majority of the relationship because I always assumed she'd be there. I told her that she haunts me and how my bed feels so empty now. That there's so many things I wanted to show her and that I can change. I can learn how to communicate and treat her like the princess she is. A few days later, she called me. She asked if I really felt that way, and if so, why couldn't I say anything earlier? I was so happy. A few days later, she texted me saying that she couldn't do this anymore and she was done. That she found somebody who treats her very well and that she will never hate me, but that she can't deal with me anymore. I still text her for a few weeks, telling her I miss her. How could she jump from one relationship to the next? She was always insecure about my ex and I because my ex always posted about me, even until now, and my ex hangs out with a lot of my friends. She always saw that I moved on too soon from my ex and would regret being in another long-term relationship. Yet, she does the same shit. Like everything we built was nothing but quicksand. Once again, she told me she couldn't do this anymore. That me texting her is mentally draining and isn't good for my health either. That she's trying to move on but I keep contacting her. That she didn't just decide to go into another relationship but happened to meet somebody. She pointed out how I told her that we were never getting back together. I've seen her family and her a few times since we broke up. I saw her alone at a show last week and walked up to her. She was civil with me and I asked if she wanted to move up in the crowd. We went through the crowd together, but I lost her as soon as the show started. I saw her again when I was leaving and asked if she wanted to travel home with me and my friends, but the coat check line was long, so she just left. I know she still cares about me. I don't think she'll last with her boyfriend. What can I do? I regret leaving her. Ugh, dearie me, you had your chance. She came to you multiple times and told you that something was wrong, trying to talk to you, trying to communicate, and basically just trying to save the relationship while she was still in it. Instead, OP pushed her away, ignored her, and OP broke up with her because he wanted to be single. Now that she's moved on, he suddenly wants her back. I mean, come on, man. Let her go. Stop texting her and stop waiting for a relationship to fall apart. Just leave her be and just learn the lesson before you go into your next relationship. Commenter says, take it like a man. Learn from your experiences. Use it to become a better person and move on. Opie says, I'm trying, but it's so hard. She was so fucking cool. I let my idea of perfection slip through my fingertips. There's a difference between love and like. She can't just fall in love with somebody 3 weeks after we break up. I was so stupid. I could have treated her so much better, but I was so stressed out. Things were good before my internship. I needed time to myself. If I knew things would be like this, I wouldn't have broken up with her. Commenter says, you're being incredibly selfish. Stop harassing her. You can't undo the mistakes you made in your previous relationship. The best you can do is learn from them and move on. Opie says, I know she can trust me if she tried. She's just scared to trust me. I don't think I'm being selfish, am I? I'm used to being with somebody I love, not being with somebody I love. Having them still care for me but push me away. A commenter replies to that saying, you should try to win her back if you want. By this I mean be straightforward with exactly what you want from her. If she wants to be with you, great. If not, do not do anything more to pursue her further. I'm trying my hardest. For about a month, I think she's just scared I'll leave her again, and the fact that she works with her current boyfriend. But I won't relapse again. I finally have a career. I can take her places, we can be happy again. I know words don't mean much, but this is where my actions will show how much I mean it. I know I've caused irreparable damage, but I want to make things right again. Nothing feels the same anymore. She is the first thought when I wake up and the last thought before I go to sleep. She was always there for me. She completed me. Everything reminds me of her because we were so alike. My bed feels like a coffin without her. The fuck? If by some miracle this works out, I won't even be me anymore. I'll improve by leaps and bounds. This brother is freaking me out, it's gotta be said. One more commenter says to OP, being single for a while and find out who you really are as a person. I'm sorry to be harsh, but it sounds like you have a lot of growing up to do, even at 24 years old. You're going to have to accept the fact that you broke up with Brittany and she's with someone else now. Even if she still cares about you, you really hurt her. How can she be expected to trust you again? You didn't realize how great she was until she was gone. She deserves better than that. It's time to move on and leave her alone. Opie says she told me to figure out who I am before I even attempt to try another relationship with anybody. That I'm too stoic and don't communicate well, and it pushes people away. She said she had problems communicating with me because of previous ways I've reacted to her saying how she felt. I know I hurt her, but I still want to make things right again. Last conversation we've had about this, I told her something along the lines of, I understand and that I was proud of having a relationship with her, and that she was really fun. I told her about the outline of things I wanted to make sure we'd be good. She was perfect for me, and that at least I had a great beginning to this nightmarish ending. I keep thinking maybe if I'm lucky in the future, she'd try to accept me again. I wish I cherished the last kiss she asked for. Because that was really the last one. Thanks for everything. Now, I'm not trying to make light of OP's feelings here, but it feels like Pillar's guy reincarnated or something. That guy lives in my head, man. But OP did come in with an update and said the original didn't get much attention, but here goes for anybody who ever wanted what happened. I ended up leaving her alone and decided to fix myself. Yay! I knew the way I treated her was horrible. I made a promise to myself that from then on, I'd be sure to treat people the way they deserve. You shouldn't take people for granted, especially when they're nothing but good to you. Nobody deserves the way I treated her the first time around. I learned a lot in the time I took alone, why I treated her the way I did, and I looked carefully into the excuses I made. I did end up sleeping around, yeah. I did a lot of things I wanted to do, not with women, in life, and some things I'm ashamed of. I learned who I want to be, who I am, and how to get to that point. I'm still improving, but I still regretted the way I treated her for a long time. A really, really, really long time. And I still do. 6 months after I posted, I ran into her jogging in the park. It was the first time I saw her since the concert. We spoke for a long time. Not about us, just about life and how we've been. Her and the new boyfriend had broken up, but I didn't expect that meant we would become anything. To my surprise, we began talking and hanging out again. I thought I'd never see her again. She was very wary on hanging out with me and I understood why. We'd meet up and walk in the park for a few hours, every week or so for almost a year. One day she came over to my house again and well, we began going on actual dates and I learned how to communicate. I don't hold things in anymore. We both hang out with each other's friends now, and I guess there's so many things I never noticed about her. She's very sweet, beautiful, funny and highly intelligent. I really hit the jackpot both times, but this time I know I won't mess it up. So far it's been almost a year since she came over again, and things are well. I'm going to keep working on myself and be the best person I could be. Thanks for knocking some sense into me, r/relationships. Commenter says to OP, oh boy, looks like fate has given you a second chance. Don't fuck it up. Opie says, trust me, I'm doing more than my best not to. A lot of my problems were I was always scared to communicate and keep my feelings bottled in. A lot of the stress built up, and instead of dealing with it head on, I attributed it to her and made excuses on why I was such an arsehole, instead of my own shortcomings. I didn't want to hurt her, but with the person I was, that's exactly what I did. I took her for granted and wish I could take back everything I did, but I know I can't. Instead, I'm learning from it and hope to continue learning from past mistakes and current experiences to be a better person. I really want an update sometime later to see if these guys actually last, because that guy is something. There's a lot of comments below talking about their chance meeting in the park, saying, was it really a chance meeting or did he know her running schedule? Bloody oof. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly is absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.